This morning in a coaching call, I was talking to a senior leader in an organization, and she mentioned that, Shilpa, often in life, in fact, very frequently, I get into this mode of self-criticism where I start beating myself up for something that happened that morning, a day before, a week before, month before, 6 months before, a year before. I mean, what I mean to say is that things that happened where I screwed up, they just don't go out of my mind. And I constantly keep thinking about it, beating myself up for the one who is responsible for that. And that reminded me of the time when I was doing my CA. I would go for a CA exam in the morning and I would answer the papers, and then when I will come back, we used to have this afternoon nap. My mom had made this discipline, and we would go for a nap, and in the nap time I would keep thinking about that one answer that I gave wrong. What is it that I could have written instead? And I would keep thinking about it, and then we'll get up, we'll start studying for the next day's exam, but my mind would be constantly on what I did wrong. Where did I screw up, and what could I have written? Which page should I go and see, in the previous paper that I did, so that I can find the right answer. My mind will be constantly on that. And what that will do is to screw up the preparation that I had to do for the exam the next day. And obviously, the result you can all imagine. So I found myself at times consciously telling myself, no more criticism, no more Shilpa, that's enough, done, that subject is done and dusted. Now let's talk about the next one. I remember as a child doing that. Now today, I want to really make you see, if you get into this self-criticism mode, in the long run, it has a huge impact on your confidence, on your courage, and on the certainty you have in life, because you start doubting yourself a lot. You start raising questions on your capability, on your self-worth. So you need to stop that right now. And for that, I wanted to come with 3 tips, 3 simple. Number 1, define a persona for your self-criticism. For that, go to a toy shop or a stationery shop, or find something at home. I'm sure you have a lot of things. Let's say it is this box. Imagine that it's not a box but a small figurine, which my daughters play with, and I get this, name it red, and put it on my table. So red is sitting on my table, and that symbolizes my self-criticism. So let's say I screwed up something today. I acted stupid, I did something which I shouldn't have done, and I sit there. I see red, my self-criticism playing with my mind. And I allow that. I allow that because it is important for me to reflect on what has happened. It is important for me to learn from it. And it is important for me to absorb that learning. And that takes time. So I decide whether it is 30 minutes, whether it is 2 hours, whether it is half a day or a day, depending upon how big the learning is. I decide the time. I make it time bound when red is going to play with my mind or rule my mind. And after that, no more red. It has to go back out of my mind and sit on the table. So define a persona and make it time bound. What time you will allow it to rule your mind. And after that, no more. Learning is done, dusted, and now it's time to move forward. So that's tip number 1. The second tip is, ask yourself, what can go wrong? What is the worst that can happen? And anytime in life, no matter how big the screw up has been, I've asked myself this question, I've realized that there's literally nothing in the world that cannot be undone. There's literally nothing that you do that cannot be changed. So let's say you screw up that deal where you were presenting, or you lost that contract, or you you didn't get that interview round, whatever it is, you'll get another chance. There's nothing in life which can go so wrong that your entire life is ruined. So that burden that you're taking on your mind, that self-criticism which is harming you in the long run, it is not worth clinging on to. So everything can be undone except if you murder someone. Yes, that cannot be undone, but everything else, it can be reversed. You will get another chance. Life gives you another chance, provided you are looking for it. The tip number 3, ask yourself, what if? What if I'm being too hard on myself? What if I'm reading too much in that situation? What if the other people didn't even notice it? What if, other than that one moment, whatever else I did, it pulled me very far. It was awesome. It was rocking, and it made up for whatever stupidity I did. Right? What if I delighted the people on the other side of the table and they're craving for me to be on board? What if? And when you start asking yourself this question, I can tell you 90-95% of the time that what if is going to be right. The reason is, we humans, we are too hard on ourselves. Do not be your enemy, be your friend. And with that relationship of friendship with you, use these 3 tips not to get sucked in self-criticism, but to continue to keep moving forward. Because that's all life is about, isn't it?